So Lothar is sitting in the war machine, manning the harpoon, and he's looking down to the other two. What do you think our chances are? I mean, of getting back alive?
I don't know.
I thought our chances at every point have been low, so we've got this far. Why can't we get home?
I suppose you're right. We've kept coming up the right side of the coin when we've been flipping. I mean, perhaps our luck will hold. But then, yeah, I wonder what will be awaiting us when we get back to Baldur's Gate. I mean, what is even left of the city? Who's in charge? What will our role have been in all of this?
There's only so many times you can flip a coin and come up tails. Eventually it's going to fall the other way. And this would be a really bad time for it to fall the other way. It's kind of funny, really. We took so much effort to get into Baldur's Gate. At least Royce did. He pulled me in. I'd have been stuck outside of those gates and probably mobbed if it wasn't for you. And somehow we managed to run straight out of Baldur's Gate almost as quick.
I mean, outside those gates of Baldur's Gate doesn't seem so bad right now, but yeah, I know what you mean. As for what we do when we go back to Baldur's Gate, I hope no one knows what we did here. I don't want to be that guy that went to hell. I don't want to be like the Hell Riders. I don't want to be idolized. I just want to get home and forget about this whole horror show.
At least you can be idolized. If I go back and tell people I went to hell, tell people about the dreams that I have, they'll brand me even worse than I am already.
I just hope the temple will take me back. I can find something valuable enough that my, well, absence won't be punished. Something that will make me come back a hero. But I'm still looking for it.
I'm sure there's something here that you can bring back as proof. There's so many artifacts we have already that I'm sure your temple would accept as a reason for your absence.
Is it really worth going back to somewhere that requires you to bring something of value just to be not punished?
I don't know. What else do I have? I don't want to go back to my family. You heard about my past. You know what I've done, what I've been forced to do. I fear my sister and my parents will just get me pulled into it again.
I do know one thing, though. Throughout all of this, the three of us have stuck together, so if we all make it out of here alive, even if some of us don't, there's the three of us when we go back up. If the three of us can get through hell, then I'm sure we can deal with whatever's up there together, even if that's its own special kind of hell.
That's right. That's right. Maybe we can become adventurers and go on a quest somewhere.
Only if you promise we never come back here again. It's too hot, even for me. And it's just, I don't like how time works, okay? The time here is weird. How long have we even been down here? Days, weeks, months?
I don't know.
Hours?
But after this, an adventure to, I don't know, Icewind Dale sounds like a good idea, don't you think?
Somewhere with taverns and pockets to pick would be good.
Sounds like a deal.
This is Red Moon Role-Playing. You are high in the sky above the city of Elturel. As always, that orb of malignant energy glowing in the sky, lightning bolts streaming from it. The great battle below has begun to change. The draconic forces are retreating. Not in any panicked way, of course. Simply, their goal has been completed. Not a surprise, perhaps, to any of you. You knew the likes of Arkan didn't give a damn about the fate of Elturel. Suffice to say, they are no longer a factor in this battle. Neither are the devils. They are also retreating. Again, not in a panic, not necessarily even in defeat. Maybe you expected different, considering that their leader is no longer their leader. But instead, their retreat is almost automatic, practiced. You're not entirely sure how that could be possible, but it's almost as if every single devil knows exactly where they need to be. And they are withdrawing, slowly, but with purpose. The demons are still crashing into their lines, but not making much progress with this ordered retreat. Instead, they seem more concerned with the prize, Elturel. Many are trying to swarm toward the city, climbing those chains, flying through the air. But you can see Zariel cutting down those chains, almost halfway through them now, 4 chains down, but 4 still to go. As you rapidly descend towards the High Hall, Lulu guiding Royce and Larissa. Lothar, you of course have your own wings to guide you. You can see the outline of that great, humongous abomination, Croak Toek, a giant, hideous creature, much like some sort of slug with legs and a giant mouth in a way, crawling up the one chain closest to the High Hall. Its speed is remarkable, and you think by the time you just reach the High Hall, it will have scaled into Elturel, ready to do whatever it's going to do. But you don't really have much time to think, because as far as you're concerned, you need to get to the High Hall as fast as possible, which you do so. Lulu lands quickly in the courtyard you remember from before. Lothar, you join swiftly as well. You can see at the great entranceway to the High Hall, men, women, most heavily armoured, shields up. Royce, you recognise this manoeuvre, a shield wall, completely in front of the entrance to the High Hall. There must be everyone here, Royce. 100, 200 men and women, a mixture of Flaming Fist, Hell Riders, some priests. Is there even some peasants just holding a pitchfork or two? Everyone is here, it seems. There's a moment of silence as you land and everyone looks at you, surprised, but then hopeful. You hear a familiar voice come from behind this line of people. Rhea's voice. Larissa? Royce, you've returned! You've returned!
We're back, and Zariel has been redeemed.
What? Oh, that's wonderful news. Great. Duke Ulder Ravengard, in full battle armour, comes forward. What of the sword? Where is the blade?
It is in her hands, and it is cutting the chains from Elturel as we speak. But we need to fight. We have to give Zariel time to do what she has to do.
Royce, how are you feeling at this moment?
Seeing all these people ready to fight, even non-military people, these local farmers and peasants out with their pitchforks, a glimmer of hope kind of rises up in me that maybe together we can do this.
Lothar?
I spread my wings and I hold my radiant warhammer and I look at all of them and I try to look as, well, majestic and celestial as I possibly can. And I look forward to the battle that is to come.
Grand Duke Ulder Ravengard frowns just a little. I see. But what? Fight what? What are we supposed to do now? Just wait?
No. Zariel was redeemed, which means the devils have retreated. They have no leader, and chaos is not their way. So you know what that leaves, trying to get into this city.
His attention turns behind you, and you all look behind you, remembering that there is a great road that leads to the High Hall before you get to the courtyard. The silhouette of this great beast comes into view, scrambling through buildings, smashing through one or two, and positioning itself central to that road. Its mouth opens wide, wider, much like when you see a snake trying to eat an egg. It extends unnaturally, A hideous sound fills the air, as from this creature's insides pour demons. Most of them small, wretched types, the lowest forms of demon kind, but some much bigger than that, and in number 50, 100, 200, 250, 300, a veritable horde is spilling out from this beast's maw, ascending towards you all. And then something emerges, larger than any of the other demon kind. You recognize this beast. It is like some sort of jackal crossed with a hyena, crossed with some sort of feral beast, towering above other demons. A hideous mouth full of fangs, a few segments of blackened armor on its person, and wielding a great flail covered in chains. Its body is. You recognize this beast. The dreams of that village destroyed long ago, the one that drove Zariel to finally unite the would-be Hellriders to descend into hell. The weird idol you saw in the Bleeding Citadel, being worshipped by the lesser demons. This is Yeenoghu, Demon Lord. There's a moment of unease. These creatures seem to be advancing slowly, which, admittedly for demonkind, seems a bit unusual, but it's almost as if this great being is holding them back just a little as he moves forward to the front. Duke Ulder Ravengard sort of sees the situation, raises his sword, and looks to everyone in the battle line, which you can join if you wish. You're only a few feet yourself from it. He says, "I understand. Men and women of Elturel, the time has come. You have tried to defend this city from the start. This is your last stand. I will not go down without a fight. I know we have different allegiances, different desires, different goals. But if you wish to save your city and live to see another day, hold the line! Hold the line!" And he raises his sword and smashes his shield, and all the others. There's a bit of fear, but they hold their swords, smash their shields. Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line! What do the three of you do?
The glorious battle is finally here. I flap my wings and I hover above the line, and I look to Larissa and Royce. This is it. This is our fight.
We can't stand behind this shield wall. We need to be in it. We need to be up against whatever Yeenoghu is, whatever that thing is, because if it reaches the line, they're not going to be able to hold it.
Yes, that would be a truly glorious kill. Let's take it down together.
You ready for this, Royce?
Let's finish what we started. We've come this far.
Then I think Larissa looks at Royce, draws her swords, and readies herself, and kind of gives him a nod.
Royce will kind of nod back while adjusting his hand wraps, just kind of tightening them, cracking his knuckles, and just assume kind of a battle pose, just ready to punch the nearest thing that comes near him, I guess.
The line of demons begins to slowly come forward. The effect almost reminding you of wolves just before they pounce. Yeenoghu sniffs the air. It seems reveling in this moment before battle. All of you then hear in your minds, at the same time, a growling, distorted voice. All of you hear the voice, but you do see the flail extended briefly towards you, Lothar. You stink of Zariel! What say you, Lothar?
I just put my head to the side and I point my warhammer towards him and I say, "You are mine."
I will devour your soul first! I will devour all your souls! And this beast lets out this hideous, braying, guttural laugh before smashing its flail into the ground, gesturing to its demon kind, and all of them, yelping, growling, snarling, charge towards the line on your end as a mass of demon kind. But it seems Yeenoghu is heading straight for the three of you. You look up for a moment, Larissa, in the sky, heading towards the great companion, glowing blue aura. Zariel. She must have finished with the chain. She is making her way to the orb, but you can see hundreds of winged fiends descending upon her. She is fighting well, but time. How much time are you going to need before she can do what she needs to do? You don't know. Battle has begun. Everyone roll initiative.
23.
It's 22 for me.
For me, it is 12 plus 10, 22.
There is a breath, and then the demonic forces and the forces of Elturel meet. There is a clash of weapons and screams as the fight begins. For the moment, the line is holding against lesser demon kind, but who knows how long it will last. The numbers of demons pouring in seems, at this point, almost infinite. This is beyond your concern at this exact moment in time, of course, because you have a demon lord charging directly towards the three of you in your little center. Lulu is close by in her larger form. Rhea you also spot close by as well, and of course Ducal the Raven Guard. Lothar, you are hovering just above this great battle, and the being Yeenoghu is directly in front of you, charging. What do you do?
Well, I shall charge directly at Yeenoghu. I fly towards him and I aim to smack him in the face with my, well, radiant warhammer.
So, you land front center. Larissa and Royce, I imagine, clearing a little bit of the way just so you can land. And you come straight in front of Yeenoghu. Roll your attack.
That is 27.
That's a hit. Roll damage.
And I call upon Gond and Torm and Tyr and all of the gods to smite this demon. And that is 59 damage.
You swing your holy warhammer directly into the side of Yeenoghu, dealing radiant damage. He growls in pain. Doesn't seem too disturbed. If anything, you sense enjoyment from this physical battle as he snarls at you. What do you do next?
I shall swing yet again. This time. And I roll 11.
You swing again, but suddenly you find Yeenoghu surges forwards. This sudden movement takes you off guard. You were not expecting it to rally itself so quickly, and you miss.
And I take flight, trying to ensure that I'm not on the ground in case that horde of demons decides to rush at me. This weapon is strong, but, well, I can only do so much against a horde.
You are able to do so, but of course, having used some movement already, you cannot regain your full height. but I think you manage to just sort of float above the battlefield again, just a little. Unfortunately, it's not enough for what happens next. Yeenagu suddenly leaps forward a little, catching you just before you take flight, his bite coming down hard in your direction. And you feel him just catch your foot. You manage to get your foot out of the way, but you did just take 14 damage. Meanwhile, Larissa, you see him coming for you, but you back away quickly. Surprised by his speed, but luckily your own speed is still pretty good. And finally, does 21 hit, Royce?
It does. So as he goes to bite me, I'm going to expend a key point and use dodge.
Just as you thought that bite was going to go down upon you, it actually doesn't. You manage to almost supernaturally avoid where you know your arm would have been bitten, and you are fine as well. But all of you are surprised by the speed this creature has. This isn't going to be easy. Larissa, it is your turn. What do you do?
Larissa is... She looks up at this creature, this Yeenagu. Says, well, you're quite tall, aren't you? Perhaps you'd be better off fighting somebody closer to your own size. And she's going to cast Enlarge on herself. She is a medium creature, so she grows to large in size, and everything she's wearing and carrying changes with me. So my weapons now deal an extra 1d4 damage. She's going to stick where she is. She's brandishing both of her swords, and having seen Royce just narrowly be missed, is trying to draw its attention a little bit to give him an in. Him and Lothar an in to this creature, perhaps, while it's distracted.
So, you grow in size, becoming a much larger target. Yeenagu tilts his head and looks at you. Taking a claw, he then barrels into you, trying to smash you out of the way. His hand connects. You must succeed on a DC 24 strength saving throw.
Oh, I have advantage on these now because of my size. That's a fail.
You have a moment where you feel with your greater size you can take this, and then feel the impact of his strength. You are pushed 15 feet in a straight line away from Yeenagu, crashing through several people and demons. You take no damage from this attack, but you do for a moment find yourself on the ground and, with your size, very prone in the middle of a bunch of confused demons and human soldiers.
She's good with that. It's distracted him. She begins to try and figure out how to get up with this new size.
Royce, your turn. One moment Larissa was there, then she was knocked away. Lothar is floating above you. You're currently the only one now directly in front of Yeenagu. What do you do?
So having seen the carnage that he's trying to inflict between bites and striking Larissa, Royce is going to step forward with his insignia of claws inscribed on his wraps and just try to take the attention of Yeenagu's attacks and focus by striking him just hard in the chest with a flurry of blows.
Roll your attacks.
So in total for the 4 hits, I have an 11, a 23, a 20, and a 16.
You hit twice. Roll damage for those 2 hits.
14 plus 12 is 26 damage. And I am also going to use my open hand technique, which is a DC saving of 14. It's going to prevent him from using a reaction if he fails.
You charge forward for the first time in a while, truly feeling the experience and power you've gained in Avernus. The amount of blows you rain on him is impressive. Some of them miss, but 1 or 2 make good solid hits. The magic of your amulet giving your bare fists the strength to actually harm such a demonic being. You deliver one final push, your special technique, straight into his chest. But then you feel something resist you, and this creature merely laughs, dripping demonic ichor from his mouth. He is not moved back by your final blow.
Yinagu, come on, fight me man to man. You've got your horde to take care of these two. Why not just focus on me, one-on-one? You've got 300, 400 wolves, demons, hounds, whatever these are.
You do not stink of Zariel, but will still make a tasty snack.
Consider it a warm-up.
Yinagu stares down at you, raises that wicked flail, and seems to do exactly as you wish. Once, twice, 3 times his flail begins dancing around, every now and then smashing into the side, taking out a soldier, gone. A demon, gone. And then wailing down on you.
Can I expend a key point to dodge this one as a bonus action, please?
Yes.
So, again, it's disadvantage attack versus my advantage dex save.
Even though you try and dodge, there's just too many attacks coming in at once. You take 15 bludgeoning damage, and an extra 13 bludgeoning damage as well.
So that is 65 minus 12, on top of that is 53 hit points. Okay.
The second attack comes in. Again, you take 15 damage, and must also make a constitution saving throw.
9.
You have this strange sensation spreading through your body. Was there something on one of those flails? You are falling to the ground. You are paralyzed. You can't move. You see the next flail coming down upon you. But Rhea, suddenly she is there, above you. She raises her sword to take the blow. She takes it, but it sends her flying back into the wall of soldiers. That attack does not hit you, but you don't know what's happened to Rhea, and you, for the moment, are paralyzed. Royce. Lofar, you see this happening from above. Royce is in trouble. What do you do?
Seeing Lothar's friend, Royce, someone who meant a great deal to Lothar, being hurt in this way, it fills me with further rage. I must take this thing down. If I cannot do it, then I don't think anyone can. I move in again with my warhammer, swinging it against Yinagu. And again, I don't know what happens. Perhaps it is fear from my compatriots. I'm not sure. 12.
You descend to make your attack. It's not that you don't hit. You hit something else. Some strange flying being jumps in the way. You smack them to oblivion, killing them instantly. But that was not your target.
I scream in anger and I swing again. This time getting 17.
This time you do hit. But he grabs your hammer. Literally in his hand. You can see him taking some burning damage from it, but he just laughs. You fight well. You will taste so good.
Well, I need to get it loose. Of course, I swing around or try to somehow make it difficult for him to hold on to it.
He lets go, and you are able to move away.
And I do so. I look at him with anger, and I feel so powerless.
Yes, you wrest your warhammer away from this being, but truly, It is mighty. For a moment, Lothar, knowledge from your old self comes forth. A demon lord. A demon lord. Is this actually winnable? And then you look into the sky. Zariel. She's cleared the foes that were assailing her. Something is happening. 2 orbs have begun to float from her person around one side of the great orb in the sky. You can just see them. They are beginning to move into the companion. She's halfway done. Maybe you just need to survive a little longer. Larissa, your turn. You are able to stand up again, although you do take 10 damage from battle happening all around you and having to scramble up, but your size does mean you've righted yourself. You're a little away from Royce. It is your turn. What do you do?
Okay, his back is to her right now, because he's dealing with Lothar and Royce.
Yes.
Okay, so Larissa's going to, as she sees this happening, is going to pick herself out of the rubble of this building she's crashed into the side of, very carefully. And rather than screaming and running in the walk up, she's going to very carefully, she's going to attempt to try and come up behind him and basically stab him in the back with both swords, hoping that he's distracted enough that she can get a sneak attack on.
He very much is. You quickly rush towards him. It's not that you're being stealthy. To be honest, far from it. Plenty of things can see you doing this. But his attention, after looking at Lothar, is totally on the fallen Royce. And you descend, jump in the air, and attack his back. What do you do?
Okay, she's gonna go ahead and make 2 attacks. That's gonna be 23.
That's a hit.
For the first one, and the second one is gonna be 18.
You hit once and miss once. You tell me what happens.
So Larissa comes down, and it's not until she gets quite close that she says anything. And she swings around using her enlarged form and her tail to throw her weight into that first blow, and literally just shouts, "Hands off the goods!" And as he turns, she uses his turn and her force to drive that blade into the side of his back.
You hit once, but missed once, so roll damage for 1 attack with all your sneak attack bonuses.
So 31.
You drive those blades in deep. For a moment you see a glow on your weapons, the Hellfire enchantment, making them actually able to pierce his skin in the first place. And what do you do next?
I imagine she catches the first one, doesn't quite catch the second, but she twists the sword as she pulls it away, and I think that's all of her movement used, because it would have been half to get up and then half to get back there, so she basically just kind of braces herself because she knows now the attention's back on her.
It is indeed. You see Yinagu turn his head. He is bleeding heavily from several wounds now. You definitely have injured him, but still standing and angry at what you've just done. His mouth descends upon you and connects. Then you take the bite attack, taking 14 damage.
In which case, as Larissa I imagine she puts that, she pulls her swords round and uses her hand to take the brunt of the bite. She steps back a little, and then she's almost gonna grin, and she's gonna cast Hellish Rebuke. So that's 16, so half of that is 8 fire damage.
You grin as you cast Hellish Rebuke, and for a moment Yinagu is alit in hellish fire. He grins back. He barely even reacts. Demons, it seems, also have resistance to fire. A guttural laugh echoes from him. Do you say anything?
She thinks about it, but she just kind of hardens up even more and kind of lowers herself a little bit, almost in the way that cats do before they're about to pounce. She wants to keep his attention here and away from Royce, who's on the floor, and hopefully Lothar can do something while the attention is turned. She figures this is a battle of trying to direct Yinagu's attention in the right places.
Sadly, his head descends upon Royce's prone form, hitting Royce for another 14 damage. Royce, you can't move. You're bleeding heavily. What's going through your mind?
So as I try to get up, just my muscles feel like they're straining every sinew, but nothing happens as I try to just break this paralyzation in a panic more than anything else, just to get standing up.
And as you're making to stand, you can't move, but you feel something in your pocket. The coin. It's trying to do something. You feel a bit of energy coming from it. It heals you for 10 damage. And you can stand. You can't move, as in move away, but you feel suddenly you have a surge. The paralyzation has been ended, thanks to the coin. Tobin is here with you. What do you do? Now you can make some attacks.
I am going to do, just after standing up and healing, I'm going to take a moment, just kind of close my eyes, focus on everything that's happened, the battle, the damage I've taken, the poison, and just take a moment to steady myself and prepare myself for the coming fight, and cast Wholeness of Body, which once per long rest allows me to regain 33 hit points. But then I'm also going to use Tranquility, which is an ability that I have at the effect of the Sanctuary spell with DC 14, which means if anyone attacks Larissa, they have to change that attack onto me or lose their attack, while also taking the DC 14 save.
It's quite something to see, Royce. You go from being on the floor, paralyzed, to standing. Your very body, every bit of training you ever had, coming forth, maybe in ways you didn't even know possible. And you're there, almost glowing, wounds not necessarily closing, I feel, but just stopping bleeding as you reroute your body's organs and things in different ways. It's strange, but impressive. And then the glowing aura of a sanctuary spell, yes. You see Yinagu's eyes about to narrow on both you and Larissa, but he understands what's happening. He growls. His attention once again will be on you, it seems. And that is the end of your turn. He charges forward, angry, it seems, at your defiance, Royce. Once again, you see those chains moving through the air, whirling in horrific manners before the flails come down. All upon you, Royce. He is angry at your defiance. The first attack hits. Do you do anything?
I'm going to again, so as I'm focusing kind of my wholeness of body, I'm going to open my eyes to see the flail coming at me and casting another key point to try and attempt a dodge.
Even though you move supernaturally fast, he is still faster. He still hits you. It's the flail you feel, its reach. It's just hard to actually dodge, especially at this range. You take, again, 15 damage plus 13. The second attack also hits. Again, 15 damage and a constitution saving throw.
So 11 plus 2 plus 5 is 18 constitution.
This time, you are not going to be paralyzed. You can feel this poison, whatever it is in your body, and you will it to not be. And somehow, it isn't. You're fine. Sadly, the next attack hits you straight in the face, dealing a final 14 damage.
Inigo, is that all you've got? Come on. You're meant to be some demon lord. You can't even beat a human. Small little human like me.
Lothar, you perhaps are amazed at Royce somehow withstanding this assault. One moment he was down, but then he is up again. The line is starting to break, though. You look up. 2 more orbs going towards the companion. Something is going to happen. Something's going to happen very soon. Maybe you're nearly there. What do you do?
Well, seeing as how we have to buy time here. I will have to try to descend and get Yeenoghu to focus in on me. It is me that he wants anyways. So I descend and I position myself right in front of Yeenoghu, right in front of his weapon, and I move in to smash him with my warhammer, again going to try to deal as much punishment as I possibly can deal. This is the glorious battle I have been looking for after all. So I again attack.
And roll with the first attack with advantage.
27.
Roll damage.
33.
Again, you smack him straight in the face with your warhammer, this time close enough that he cannot dodge. Your second attack, please, but no advantage this time.
23.
Roll damage.
And that is 48 damage as I smash him as hard as I can with my Radiant Warhammer, trying to push him away from Royce. And this time I will just remain in front of him. He wants me, he can have me.
Indeed, and he actually, for a moment, staggers back, part of his jaw coming ever so slightly off his face as he tilts his head and looks at you with pure fury. He moves forward to descend upon you. Take 14 damage as he bites down hard into your shoulder. Now you're directly in front of him. He then moves on, darting past you ever so slightly to extend his head towards Royce. And Royce takes another 14 damage from a bite. Finally, a quick twirl of his tail, and again his mouth upon you, Larissa, taking 14 damage. Royce, it's your turn. Lothar has just charged down in front of you, gloriously smashing away at this being, and he's actually bleeding quite heavily. You have injured this demon lord, but he still is fighting, if anything, more savagely, and you think everyone is starting to take a few hits, but it is your turn. You also briefly look above and see something is going to happen above you very, very soon, but not quite yet. What do you do?
So Royce, now very much in his last legs and kind of on one knee, is going to stand up, see that it's almost time for whatever is going to happen. Not entirely sure what, but he knows that he needs to buy as much time as he can to let the Hell Riders and Elturel finish completing what they're trying to get done. And he's going to, with his last ounce of energy, unleash another unarmed strike and flurry of blows. So I got a 23, a 22, a 15 and a 9 to hit on the 4 attacks.
Once again, 2 attacks hit. Roll damage for those attacks.
In total, it is 16 damage.
You charge forwards. You just begin hammering blows into Yeenoghu, your fists going again and again and again. Whether or not it does much damage is debatable, but you definitely are now, once again, front and center, right next to Lothar.
With the final blow that hits, I'm going to use my open hand technique. Again, a DC 14 dex save this time to prevent him being pushed back 15 feet.
You do, and once again you feel a strange aura. Stop your attack. He still stands. Larissa, Lothar and Royce are pretty much charging full on into Yeenoghu, and he is staggering back a little. He has taken damage. Attention is not on you properly. You could definitely get in another sneak attack, you feel.
Larissa spits some blood out of the side of her mouth. She's pretty beaten up, and she's breathing heavy, and seeing her 2 friends still fighting in similar condition to her, she just lets out a scream, almost more in frustration than anything, and is just going to charge in with 2 attacks. So... okay, I get a natural 20 and a 16.
The first attack you feel just goes straight into his leg and kind of just doesn't seem to affect anything, but you get so angry that your next attack is a critical. Tell me what you do.
She's just screaming in frustration, and she rushes in and is just almost blindly, except for being aware of where Lothar and Royce are, is just throwing blow after blow into the already damaged bits of his skin, finding where her sword made purchase before and really digging in and twisting the knife. And it's the frustration of seeing her friends hurt, because she's hurting, and, you know, Royce was knocked to the floor. Lothar, you know, is being attacked as well, and these are the two people that kept her safe here. And that's what hurts the most. So she wants to inflict that pain back.
Roll your damage, remembering to double it.
62.
Your attack, almost straight into his heart, causes a moment of actual pausing. As a swaying, there is a roar of anger as his fist doesn't focus so much on you, Larissa, but just looks at Lothar. It's less you feel that it didn't want to aim at you, but that it's actually a bit confused and flailing wildly. Lothar, a strength saving throw, please.
That would then be 20.
Still not enough. You suddenly are lifted in the air by this errant attack and thrown across the battlefield 15 feet away. As you land, you don't take any damage. You actually land quite well. But the shield... Where's the shield? You see it sort of just sliding away from you, knocked off your back and now sliding through men, through demons, rapidly getting away from you. Inagu looks down at you, Larissa. Roaring in anger, he takes a hand and sort of bats you off his chest, and then aims all his attacks upon you. The first attack is 23. Does that hit?
That does.
You take 15 damage, and then 13 damage. You feel that flail just smack into your chest, and you stumble back. You fall to the ground. Another flail is about to hit you. Royce, what do? Do you try and get in the way? It's about to come straight down upon an unconscious Larissa.
Royce is struggling in a battle and is going to make an effort to try and get in the way, but in his weakened state, I don't think is going to make it or capable of making it. He goes to run and try and block the flail, but stumbles to the ground and just watches.
You move forward, Royce, trying to reach her, but your wounds, so wounded. Everything is blurring. You can see something happening above, but I think for you, everything just centers on trying to reach Larissa. You hear a loud, trumpet-like noise. Lulu appears before all of you. You will not hurt my friends! And a flail descends upon Lulu, smacking her hard in the face. Blood, golden-coloured, pouring from her as she staggers back. Another flail attack coming in. Lothar, the shield, one way, slowly just getting further from you. But your friends, you could get in the way. What will you choose to do?
Well, there's only one choice here. I must get in the way. I must save my friends. The shield, it will be what it will be. We have had many conversations, and if this creature will now be unleashed, then so be it. My friends, though, they must be saved. It's important to Lothar, so it's important to me. And I move to get in the way.
You will take 15 damage, but tell me how you block the attack.
In that case, I move to shield Larissa with my back, with my wings, taking the hit in that way.
And you feel that flail bite down into you, blood pouring. It occurs to you at this point a new sensation, pain, and perhaps your body, despite everything, is still very mortal. You know this now to be true. Larissa, how are you feeling? Where are you? Everything is blurry, unclear. You're in a lot of pain.
I imagine that she's, rather than being kind of unconscious, she's laying there trying to blink as the vision kind of fades in and out of black. But she's not on this battlefield. In her mind, she is back in that strange, dreamlike place where she first spoke to Zariel, but it's empty. There's no one here. And occasionally she can hear voices from the battle. She can hear what she thinks is Royce shouting something. Maybe Lothar, but it's all very, very distant. And she's just alone in this empty dreamscape as she kind of fades in and out. And she is terrified. She wasn't scared the moment that she took on those last few attacks because she was trying to save her friends, but here, alone, she's scared. She doesn't want to die in hell.
Roll me a death saving throw.
16.
Life beginning to fade, but not quite gone yet. Lothar, you stand there, injured but defiant. Larissa, she will need help soon. Royce, what are you trying to do before you collapse yourself?
So, having seen Lulu take the blows and Larissa in a bad way after having stood up to Inagu, I'm going to kind of rush over to their side and again turn to Inagu and any oncoming danger and just ready myself for what's potentially my final stand.
And it's just as you're standing that then there is a strange sound, louder than anything any of you have heard so far. Everyone looks up instinctively. The orb, the companion, something is happening. Suddenly the lightning and darkness is gone. And once again is a light, bright and shining, although not truly radiant, more just as if something is happening. You see Zariel in the sky, her form beginning to move away from the companion. And it's opening. The companion is opening. As if parts of it are coming away, beginning to slowly fall. Maybe one will fall into the city, but most of it you think will fall to the sides. There is something inside the companion. You can't see what it is. Inagu sways. There is a pause. Blood and ichor drip from his mouth as he looks at you, Lothar. In all your minds you hear him say, I shall remember your scent, warrior. One day, your soul will be mine. And he vanishes, popping out of existence suddenly. You see the city starting to tilt. Whatever was in the sky has suddenly moved away very quickly. You can no longer see it. You can see Zariel beginning to descend upon your position. The demons are retreating, running as fast as they can. That great beast leaping off the city you can't see. The whole city begins to then tilt as if something is pushing it from below. Inagu is gone. The demons are retreating, but you see everyone trying to hold on to something. You hear Grand Duke Ulder Ravengard himself shout out, Hold! Hold on to something! Royce, you still have the strength to do that, as does Lothar, but Larissa, she's starting to move her body ever so slightly, beginning to move as the entire city seems to be tilting towards the left. What do the two of you do?
I'm going to grab Larissa and kind of pick up her body, run to the nearest street lamp or like pole that's a good anchor point and just try and basically grapple that while holding onto Larissa.
Roll me an acrobatics or athletics check.
I rolled a 6, that's 15 total.
You grab Larissa But as you're struggling to reach anything to hold, you can't quite do both at the same time. You have her secure, but you are now starting to fall a little yourself. Lothar, what do you do? Your wings quickly give you better advantage than most, but you do see Royce and Larissa beginning to fall away from you.
Lothar, I need your help.
I move to help, to lift them up, and as I do that, I use my ability lay on hands on Larissa to heal her wounds.
You dive towards Larissa, your hand quickly descending upon one of her wounds. Larissa, you are brought back from the brink of death. You are stabilized. Still very badly injured, but you feel breath return to you and you awaken to see Royce holding on to you, and then Lothar holding on to Royce. As the city seems to be tilting, you can see brick, you can see things all starting to sort of fall to the side. You could even see, just as your vision returns, a final image of the shield before it goes over the edge of the city, descending to whatever abyss is below. You all hear in your minds, one final time, "Farewell, brave heroes. Enjoy the rest of your lives." What do you do?
Try to hold on. Try to survive this. Make sure that if there's anyone that can be saved, if anything, just.
Lothar, where's Lulu? Is she still knocked down? Is she up?
You look around. You see Lulu coming towards you as well, wounded but alive, and she extends a trunk to sort of help, like, "Hold on, friends, hold on!"
And I extend my hands to Lulu as well, and lay on hands there as well, expending what I assume to be then my last lay on hands points.
There is a great rumbling. Suddenly, movement. You all are blinded by light and sound. You can see everyone has fallen down or is holding onto something. In these moments of chaos and confusion, Lothar, what are you thinking?
Well, it was a glorious battle, and because we were able to redeem Zariel, that's why we stand victorious, because I think this is what victory is in this situation. I am uplifted by a great joy, and at the same time fear. I shouldn't be afraid anymore. I have ascended, but I am still mortal. I am still human on some level. I suppose I feel some fear about what is to come next, but I know what I will do. I will do my very best to save my friends and to get through this alive, to get back from hell.
Royce, what are you thinking?
Royce, bleeding from just all over his body from numerous flail hits, is just focusing on, now that his friends look to be safe, just holding on to this light pole with every ounce of strength he has, struggling to fight against gravity and keep himself within Elturel.
Larissa, what are you thinking?
Imagine as Lothar does lay on hands to Larissa and she comes to and that dreamscape fades again. She's still afraid. And when she regains that consciousness, she grips onto the first thing her hands can reach, which is probably, Royce and Lothar. And she's still not fully aware of where she is, but in the moments that she realises everyone is hanging on, she will get her tail to wrap around wherever she can, if it's that pole that Royce is holding onto, and just try and hold on to them the best that she can. Because in this moment, that's the only thing she's really aware of, is that everyone is holding on to each other for something, for some reason. And she's just terrified in that moment, because she hasn't quite got to grips with what's going on around her. She's suddenly not in the place that she was, and the only thing she can think about is, we can't die here. We can't die in hell.
Noise. Confusion, light. At one point you feel the gravity shift from left to right, and there's a moment of pure panic. And then you're simply on the ground. The city is no longer left or right. It is merely straight. Silence. Lothar would be the first, I feel, to blink and see the sun shining upon the ruined city of Elturel. The weather seems cold. Still autumn, it seems. For a moment, there is nothing but silence as you hear very slowly people starting to pick themselves up and look at the sun. What do you do, Lothar?
I look around and I feel pleased. We did what we set out to do. We've saved the city of Elturel. And we're all alive still, I think, and then I reconsider. Lothar... Well, yes, Lothar is alive as well, in some way. And I look to my friends. I try to see what is going on with them. Are they okay?
Royce, you are extremely heavily wounded, but the sun is shining down upon you, and you feel the battle has passed.
So Royce kind of releases his grip just on this street lamp and slides down, sitting down back against the light, looks up, sees the sun, just starts laughing to himself, happy that he's home.
Larissa, it's cold and you're in a lot of pain, but you're alive, and the sun is shining down upon the city of Elturel.
I think Larissa finally gains the strength to pick herself up, looks up at the sun, looks over at Lothar and down at Royce, who's laughing, kind of laughs a little bit herself, seeing that Royce is just as badly hurt as she is. She kind of reaches down to give him a hug. As she does, she'll cast Healing Word. So you'll get back 4 hit points. It's not a lot, but... And then we'll sit down beside Royce, looking over at Lothar, back up to the sun, and just kind of laughs. And then has a moment, turning to Royce, says, Zariel. We need Zariel. We're not done here yet, Royce. You've still got that coin, right?
Reach into my pocket and pull out the soul coin of Tobin. Yeah, I completely forgot.
You look at the coin for a moment, and then nearby you do see, floating, with a second angelic being, Zariel. And from behind you, you all turn to see Rhea, swaying a little, quite a nasty wound near her face. One of her eyes is closed, but she regards you all and lifts her weapon. Victory! Victory! And everyone behind her raises their swords and cheers as the city of Elturel does seem to have been saved.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the campaign Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We were joined by Virginia Page, who is Tabletop Horde on Twitter, and Owen Fáilbhe from the How We Roll podcast. We would like to extend our thanks to our friends at Wizards of the Coast for all their support in getting us the material early and for helping more people discover our show. The music was made by Halgrath, Aegis Sonus, Atrium Calceri and Herbs9 and was used with permission from their label Cryo Chamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody, dark ambient. We also used the soundtrack to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 by Michael Honig, and to Planescape Torment by Mark Morgan, and permission for this was given by the awesome people at Beamdog. Check out these enhanced editions of those classic games for some of the best D&D adventures ever created. We would like to give a massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia, Raulerson, Simon Cooper, and David for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult, Divinity Lost, and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, and we are proud to say that we've had some excellent exclusive play sessions with our top supporters. All of your lovely support is what keeps the show going, so please do check us out and consider if you want to be one of our patrons. Thank you again for listening, and see you soon.